It was 1 a.m. on May 2nd, 2011, in Abbottabad, Pakistan, when 23 operators from the U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6, the Red Squadron of DevGru, stormed a walled compound and shot
Bravo 2,
Osama
reaching
bin
the
Laden
landing.
dead inside his own bedroom.
Chalk 1 entering the valley.
The mission was called Operation Neptune Spear. It lasted 38 minutes from the first boot on the ground to the last helicopter leaving Pakistani airspace. This is the story of Operation Neptune Spear, the 10-year manhunt for the world's most wanted man, and the 38 minutes that ended it. Every detail you are about to hear comes from declassified accounts, verified reporting, and the words of the people who lived through that night. Some of it will surprise you. All of it actually happened. Langley, Virginia. A secure briefing room. No windows, no clocks. Late August 2010, 8 months before that night. A CIA analyst sets down a folder of satellite images on the table and says 4 words that a small circle of people inside American intelligence have been waiting almost a decade to hear. We think we found him. Nobody in that room celebrates. Nobody raises their voice. In this line of work, certainty is a luxury nobody can afford yet. But something in the air changes anyway, because the trail they have followed for years has just led to that same walled compound in Abbottabad. To understand how that folder ended up in Langley, we have to go back much further, to a boy born in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 1957, the 17th of his father's 54 children. As a young man, he studies civil engineering, and it is in college that he falls in with teachers who preach a hard, radical strand of political Islam. When the Soviet Union invades Afghanistan in 1979, he leaves Saudi Arabia to join the resistance. And by 1988, he has co-founded an organization built from that war, Al-Qaeda. 2 years later, when Iraq invades Kuwait, he offers his own fighters to defend Saudi Arabia. The Saudi king turns him down and brings in American troops instead. That single decision plants the seed of everything that follows. The moment a wealthy, war-hardened Saudi named Osama bin Laden begins to see the United States, not just the Soviets, as his enemy. Through the 1990s, that hatred turns into a campaign. A failed 1992 bombing in Yemen aimed at U.S. Marines. The 1993 World Trade Center parking garage bombing that kills 6 people. In 1998, coordinated truck bombs against 2 American embassies in Kenya and Tanzania killed 224 people. In 2000, a small boat packed with explosives rips a hole in the side of the USS Cole in Yemen, killing 17 American sailors. Each attack goes unanswered in a way that only emboldens him further. Then comes September 11th, 2001. 19 hijackers, 4 commercial aircraft, both towers of the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, and a field in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people are dead by nightfall. For the first time in his life, bin Laden has done something the world cannot ignore. He also knows, immediately, that he has just made himself the most hunted man on the planet.
It could well be.
By December 2001, American and Allied forces corner him inside the Tora Bora cave complex in Afghanistan's White Mountains. Bombers pound the ridgelines for days. But under cover of a snowstorm, bin Laden slips through an eastern mountain route into Pakistan. He is never seen in a cave again. For the next several years, he moves through a quiet string of safe houses, Peshawar, Karachi, the Swat Valley, where he meets at least once with 9/11 architect Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, before Mohammed's capture in March 2003 forces bin Laden to go further underground, eventually resurfacing in Haripur. By 2005, a custom 3-story compound has been completed in Abbottabad, less than a mile from Pakistan's military academy, and bin Laden moves his family in. He will father 4 more children behind those walls and never step outside them again. American intelligence, meanwhile, is chasing something almost invisible.
The target is
Bin Laden trusts phones and the internet to nobody. He communicates only through a small, hand-picked circle of human couriers. Detainees at Guantanamo Bay begin repeating one name, Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti, a Pakistani man raised in Kuwait, fluent in Arabic and Pashto, trusted enough to have trained one of the intended 9/11 hijackers on email use before the attacks. One detainee insists al-Kuwaiti died fleeing Tora Bora. It is a lie, planted to close a door the CIA is only just beginning to open. In 2007, American intelligence finally learns his real name, Ibrahim Saeed Ahmed. In August 2010, a single intercepted phone call between his relatives and a number inside Pakistan gives the CIA exactly what it has wanted since the towers fell. Operatives quietly follow his car from Peshawar to the gate of a walled compound in Abbottabad, and what satellite imagery reveals over the following weeks does not look like an ordinary home. The compound is 8 times larger than any house around it, ringed by concrete walls between 10 and 18 feet high, topped with barbed wire. No telephone line runs into the property. There is no internet connection. The residents burn their own garbage rather than put it out for collection. A section of the 3rd floor terrace has been walled off completely, 7 feet high, blocking any view in from outside. High enough that a man pacing that terrace every day could never be seen by a neighbor or a passing car. The CIA rents a house nearby and watches for months. Analysts never see the pacer's face clearly, only a tall man in traditional dress who circles the vegetable garden daily, always inside the blind spots. They give him a nickname that will follow him for the rest of his life: the Pacer. Still unconfirmed, the CIA tries one more angle. In April 2011, a Pakistani doctor named Shakil Afridi, working with the agency, launches a fake hepatitis B vaccination drive in the neighborhood, hoping to collect DNA from children inside the compound to match against a sample from bin Laden's late sister. Afridi is turned away at the gate, but in trying to gain entry, he obtains a phone number tied to a man calling himself Ibrahim Saeed Ahmed. That single number becomes one more thread, confirming everything the CIA already suspects. By March 2011, the assessment reaches President Obama's desk. An airstrike could level the compound, but the risk to civilians is severe, and there would be no body to confirm the kill. A drone strike could target the Pacer directly, but the odds of missing or of never proving who died remain too high. The only option that offers real certainty is the most dangerous one: a helicopter-borne raid by a small ground team flown deep into sovereign Pakistani territory without informing the Pakistani government at all. Admiral William McRaven, head of Joint Special Operations Command, plans it personally, haunted by the memory of Operation Eagle Claw, the failed 1980 hostage rescue in Iran that ended in a helicopter collision and 8 dead Americans. He turns to the Red Squadron of SEAL Team 6, freshly home from Afghanistan and officially on leave, the perfect cover for weeks of secret rehearsal on a life-size plywood replica of the compound built in North Carolina. Most of the men training do not yet know whose house they are practicing to enter. On April 29, 2011, in a small conference room beside the White House Situation Room, Obama gives the final order. intelligence officers privately put the odds that the pacer is actually bin Laden somewhere between 50 and 80%. Obama approves the mission anyway. At 10:30 p.m. local time on May 1st, 4 helicopters lift off from the American base in Jalalabad, Afghanistan. 2 modified stealth Blackhawks, call signs Chalk 1 and Chalk 2, and 2 heavy-lift Chinooks trailing behind with extra fuel and a backup assault force. 23 SEALs are aboard the Blackhawks, along with a Pashto interpreter and a Belgian Malinois military dog named Cairo. The Chinooks stop partway, holding in reserve in case anything goes wrong. Around 1 a.m. Pakistan time, both Blackhawks reach the compound. Chalk 2 hovers near the main gate, dropping several SEALs and the dog team on the road outside before lifting the rest onto the roof of the main building. Then it pulls away to circle nearby. To hover over the courtyard, the dense concrete walls disturb the air in a way the open training replica never could, a phenomenon pilots call settling with power. The aircraft loses lift. Its tail clips the boundary wall. None of the 12 SEALs aboard are hurt. They are moving before the aircraft has even settled, blowing through the outer gate and a second locked gate with explosive charges, then crossing the parking area toward the guest house near the entrance. Inside that guest house, roused by the crash, is Ibrahim al-Kuwaiti, the courier whose phone call had led the CIA here in the first place, with his wife and children. As the SEALs move to force the door, gunfire erupts from inside. They return fire, and Ibrahim is killed. His wife opens the door and comes out with the children, and the guest house is secured. The rest of the team pushes toward the 3-story main house. Inside, the power for the entire neighborhood has already been cut, plunging the building into total darkness. An advantage that means nothing to SEALs wearing night vision goggles, but everything to the family trapped inside without light or warning of what is coming up the stairs. On the ground floor, they find Ibrahim's brother, Abrar, another of bin Laden's trusted guards, along with his wife, Bushra. In the chaos of the encounter, both are shot and killed. The SEALs push deeper, past a kitchen and storage rooms, toward a stairwell blocked by a heavy locked steel gate, deliberately built to slow down exactly this kind of assault. They blow through it with breaching charges. Upstairs, on the second floor, bin Laden's 23-year-old son Khalid has heard the explosions and grabbed a weapon, positioning himself as the last line of defense between the SEALs and his father. One SEAL who speaks Arabic calls his name twice. Khalid leans around the corner and is shot dead on the landing. On the 3rd floor, in the dark, bin Laden is already awake. His 3rd wife reaches for a light switch out of habit, and he stops her. He calls out to Khalid, 1 floor below. 2 of his daughters, still in the room, begin reciting verses from the Quran, their voices barely above a whisper, as the sound of boots and shattering doors climbs closer up the stairwell with every passing second. Then, the SEALs reach the top of the stairs. Bin Laden appears at his bedroom door, and behind him, one of his wives moves forward, either trying to shield him or trying to stop the SEALs. Accounts differ. In the space of a few seconds, a SEAL fires, striking him above the left eye and in the chest. He falls where he stands. A second shot follows to remove any possibility that this moment ends in anything other than certainty. What follows is not a quick exit. For nearly 40 minutes, the SEALs methodically search the house, filling bags with hard drives, DVDs, handwritten journals, and USB drives. Roughly 500,000 files across more than 100 separate storage devices. An intelligence haul so large, it takes analysts years to fully process. Buried inside it is proof that the ascetic, cave-dwelling image bin Laden spent a decade building for the cameras was a performance. He was found living in a walled residential compound worth well over $1 million, still writing letters to Al-Qaeda commanders scattered across continents, still directing the organization from behind those 18-foot walls.
Years later, when the CIA finally makes some of that material public, the contents surprise almost everyone. Alongside the journals of political strategy and instructions to his commanders sit stacks of ordinary family life. Disney films for his youngest children, video games, and a wedding video for his son Hamza, who had married the daughter of a senior Al-Qaeda figure. He kept recordings of his own practice speeches, rehearsed again and again before ever being released to the world. And he apparently followed his own legend closely enough to keep documentaries and biographies made about him. It is, in every sense, the private archive of a man who saw himself as far more significant than the isolated fugitive the world imagined. To confirm his identity beyond doubt, the SEALs questioned 2 of his wives, who initially refused to speak. When they turned to a young girl nearby for answers instead, one of the wives finally breaks and confirms it herself. This is Osama bin Laden.
At 3:53 p.m. Eastern Time, word reaches President Obama and his national security team, crowded into that small White House conference room, watching a live video feed from cameras mounted on the SEALs' helmets. The mission commander radios confirmation to Admiral McRaven through a secure line. For God and country, Geronimo, Geronimo, Geronimo.
Over.
McRaven asks for clarification. The answer comes back. Geronimo, EKIA.
Right here, before we go further into the burial, the backlash, and what almost went wrong on the way home, if a true story like this deserves your attention, this is the moment to hit subscribe, because what happens next is just as important as everything that came before it. The team destroys the crashed Black Hawk with planted charges to keep its stealth technology out of Pakistani hands, though its tail section survives the blast and is photographed by local media the next morning. A spare Chinook is called in to carry the overflow of men and equipment. By roughly 1:06 a.m. Pakistan time, 38 minutes after the first boot touched the ground, the operation is over, and the helicopters lift off for the flight back to Afghanistan.
Warmed up and
Bin Laden's body is flown first to Afghanistan, where CIA specialists compare his face against known photographs and measure his height against his known 6'4" frame. Confidence in the identification reaches 95% within hours, and DNA testing against samples from his family confirms it beyond any reasonable doubt soon after. Burying him becomes its own quiet crisis for the United States. Cremation is ruled out. It violates Islamic religious practice, and the White House has no interest in being seen to disrespect the dead man's faith. Burial on land creates a different danger. Any marked grave, anywhere, in Pakistan, Afghanistan, or Saudi Arabia, risks becoming a shrine for his followers, the way Saddam Hussein's grave became a pilgrimage site for loyalists after his execution. Saudi Arabia, his birth country, had already stripped him of citizenship years earlier and shows no interest in taking the body back. There is only one option left that guarantees no grave will ever exist. Within 24 hours of death, in keeping with Islamic tradition, bin Laden's body is washed, wrapped in a white shroud, given a religious service aboard the USS Carl Vinson with an Arabic translator present, and lowered into the waters of the Arabian Sea. Good evening.
At 11:35 p.m. Eastern
I can
Time,
report to the American
barely
people
8
and to the
hours
world.
after the raid ends,
The United States
President
has conducted
Obama
an operation
tells the
that
world
killed
what has
Osama
happened.
bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, and a terrorist who's responsible for the murder of thousands of innocent men, women, and children. It was nearly 10 years ago that a bright September day was darkened by the worst attack on the American people in our history. The images of 9/11 are seared into our national memory.
Outside the White House gates and outside Ground Zero in New York, crowds gather within minutes, some still in pajamas, waving flags and singing into the night. Strangers embracing strangers on street corners that had known nothing but grief for a decade. A decade of grief and fear, collapsing for one evening into pure release. 10 years, one courier, 38 minutes on the ground, and a body that no map will ever mark. That is the entire distance between a boy born in Riyadh in 1957 and the bottom of the Arabian Sea in 2011. The real lesson of Operation Neptune Spear is not that the world's most dangerous men hide in caves. It is that they hide in plain sight, behind 18-foot walls, a mile from a military academy, in a house with no phone line, walking the same small patch of garden every single day, certain that nobody is watching.
He is finally
Somebody always is.
There is one more thread to this story that never gets the ending it deserves. Dr. Shakil Afridi, the physician whose fake vaccination drive helped confirm the compound in the final weeks before the raid, was arrested by Pakistani authorities within days of bin Laden's death. He was ultimately sentenced to decades in prison, officially over an unrelated case, though few outside Pakistan doubt the real reason. American officials have called for his release for years. He remains behind bars to this day, the one man in this entire story who helped end a 10-year hunt and never came home a hero. If you want to see how deep this story really goes, the Pakistani investigation that followed, the doctor still sitting in a jail cell for helping find him, and the questions still unanswered to this day, hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because we are only getting started.